This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is The List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle.
We're back again, boys and girls. Another edition of List Building Lifestyle with the chief list builder himself, Mr. Igor Kheifets. What is up, my man?
Hey, John, what is up? What's up, list builders? Are you ready for another shocking episode of the List Building Lifestyle?
I don't know. I was so shocked at the end of the last one where you went on a little rant. I don't know how you can top that.
Oh, I'll top that. Easy. Check this out. Check this out. So, a couple years ago, I traveled down to Miami. And Miami's nice. Maybe for some people, I didn't like it at all. It was too hot, too humid, and like lots of traffic. And but the one thing I do remember is walking down the Hard Rock Casino and kind of walking down the slot machine aisles. And you know what just amazed me is that most people playing slot machines are people on welfare, like older folks, people that they're not rich. They're just not even middle class, but just basically people don't have any money. Now, like when I asked a couple of them, there were like a couple playing, and I approached them and I asked them why do they play, etc. Because I don't gamble. They basically said they want to make some money. Now, this is a bit shocking to me, and it should be shocking to you, because slot machines, if you know anything about slot machines, are designed in a way where they give you entertainment for your money, but they never let you win. So in other words, the payouts are built in a way where you can either lose fast or you can lose slowly. And there's like a mathematical algorithm that counts everything. So you can either lose really, really fast or you can lose slowly, but you lose anyway at the end of the day. So people who play slot machines in hopes to make money, to hit the jackpot, are like their chances of doing so is like less than 0.001%. They're almost guaranteed every single time to walk away with less money in their pocket than they started. Usually no money at all. And you're probably thinking, what does that have to do with marketing? What does that have to do with making money from home? Well, here's what it has to do with it. You see, most people who go to school, study hard, and want to get a job, these people play slot machines because all they're saying is, I want to get a job, which is kind of like saying, I want to lose at life because by the time I'm ready to retire, I'm not going to have enough money to support me. Now, the people who say, it's okay, like, I'll get a job, I'll get a really good job, say that I want to lose at life, but I want to lose slower because supposedly making more money on the job or having a higher paying job is what's going to make a difference.
Ouch. Like, let it sink in there. If you got a job, you're a loser, or you're going to lose.
Yeah, you either lose fast or you lose slow, but you lose anyway. And here's the irony, Jonathan. People who hold on to a job usually refuse to take risks. I'm sure you've seen this before. I'm sure you had people in your life who you spoke with who, when you confronted them whether they want to have a job and not be an entrepreneur, it really comes down to them not wanting to take a risk and fail, etc. Now, the great part about having your own business and being self-employed, being an entrepreneur, is that with your own business, you risk to win. Like, sure, you take risks and you lose money. However, you risk in order to win eventually, in order to not only support yourself, but to support maybe every single possible member of your family. Like, right now, I support several families at the same time because my parents can't support themselves. My mother-in-law often needs our financial assistance, etc. Just like any other family. It's just the difference is we're able to support them while most other families are not able to support their siblings. So with your own business, you risk to win, while with a job, supposedly you don't risk, but you actually do risk. You bet on this philosophy, which pretty much guarantees you're going to lose eventually. So what's the point? Like, I don't get it. Why would you settle for a job deliberately and not risk to have your own business if all you're doing is delaying your defeat?
Isn't it interesting how people think jobs are security and they're quite the opposite of that? I've always been fascinated by that.
Well, probably until they get fired.
Ah, you know what? That's probably why I know better, because I've been fired before.
Oh yeah. I didn't know you have a job.
Dude, come on. Before I got into business for myself, I was an electrician out of high school for 9 years. I used to work out in the hot Florida sun, 7 to 3:30 every day, turning wrenches, pulling wire and crap like that till I got fed up and jumped into my own business.
Wow. Were you fired from that job or did you quit?
Well, it was a interesting road where the last couple years in business, or I can't even say working. I don't know how to say that. The last couple of years as an employee, I had one place where I was laid off and another place where I was fired for something. I don't know what, I can't remember what it was. And then by that time I was already fed up and I was working on my escape plan for the last year, and I left that last job and I had reached the pinnacle. I was given a service truck. I was given a bunch of raises. I had a helper and stuff like that. I'm like, this is it. This is everything.
This is the life.
Yeah, I'm like 23 years old and I already have everything these 50-year-olds work for. And I'm like, this ain't for me.
You were living the electrician lifestyle.
Yeah, work boots and 50 pounds of tools strapped to me like a mule. Check it out, baby.
Wow. Well, I've only been fired once. I quit from every other job I've had. I remember coming down to work. I was working in this chemical facility, the same one which I returned about 2 years later to work as a security guard. I was working in this, it's not a department, it's more like a big shed where they made like toxic fumes that you spray over vegetables, right, to kill the bugs.
Yeah.
So we would make these and we would ship them over to Brazil. And I was working in that shed where there was like a conveyor belt, and there were 5 of us doing it. 4 of us on the conveyor belt, and one guy on the little truck that would pick them up and take them to a different part of the facility. So I remember, coming down to work one day, and I was working for just about 3 weeks. So at the time, I kind of got used to the place. I got used to the routine, and I was coming in. And the only reason I got that job was so I could pay the $10 per month, fee for my Global Domain International business and have some extra money left to buy some other tools I needed for my business. And so, like, I come down to work, and my boss calls me in. Like, my boss was like, I think it was 6. I don't understand inches. I'm bad at that. So he was like about 2 meters and 10 centimeters long in height. So that's a lot. It's like 7 feet, maybe even more than that, 7 feet tall.
Wow.
So he was big. He was high. Sorry, not high. He was tall.
On the fumes?
Yeah. So he was tall. He was big. He was intimidating. And the interesting part is that he never spoke to me before. So when he called me in, I thought he's going to give me a raise. I thought he was going to say how well I work and that, he's moving me up the ladder or something. But when I stepped into his office, he didn't say much besides handing me a letter. Like, he just hands me a letter and says, "Hey, son, I'm sorry." So I open the envelope and I read, basically, there's downsizing the company, and I'm the first one to get downsized.
Lucky you.
Yeah, well, now I realize that was a good thing. However, at the time, I felt like shit, man. Like, I didn't feel I deserved to be downsized. Now, the truth of the matter is, no one deserves to get downsized, probably. But that's the nature of what a job can be. Because, there's reasons outside of how big of a, hard worker you are, or how diligent you are, or how much your boss loves you, that can play a role in your financial future. Now, it's a good thing that I was only 3 weeks in. I didn't have a family. I was still living with my parents. But what if I had a family? What if I had a kid at the time? Like, that would suck to get downsized.
No kidding.
So that's what I'm talking about. It's a slot machine. A job is a slot machine, and you got to get out.
Scary stuff, man. Scary stuff. Not as secure as everybody makes it out to be. So then, how is this entrepreneur thing more secure than that? Because you don't know when your next paycheck's coming.
Well, you don't until a certain point when you do. When you build a customer base and you know exactly where it comes from. Plus, you build a skill set which creates independence. True, real, genuine independence. And I don't know what independence means to you, Jonathan, but to me, independence is the ability to produce in any environment. So you, me, Ben, Doberman Dan, name anyone who's successful in business. We have the genuine belief that we can produce in any environment because we have the tools, the skills, and the resources to take advantage of the opportunities that come our way. Now, the average employee does not. Not only don't they have the skill set and the resources, they don't have the mindset or the awareness. So if something happens and the entire industry tanks, just God forbid, but let's just say the podcast industry tanks, what's going to happen to you?
What's going to happen to me? I am going to be butthurt for a hot minute, and then I'm going to move on to whatever is next. I'm going to solve another problem.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know how the marketplace works. The marketplace always rewards people who can solve other people's problems, and you will get paid to the extent that you're irreplaceable, or to the extent that you're able to fix those problems for the consumers. Now, another great thing as being an entrepreneur, which you learn early on, is that you don't keep all your eggs in one basket. And if I know anything about you, is that you got a real estate income coming in as well, in addition to the podcast income.
That's right.
So I don't think it's an easy. It's easy to get you kind of off balance, if you will. Sure, it hurts if one of the legs of your stool is being taken away, right? But you still have three other legs to keep you sitting on the stool. Most people sit on a bar stool with one leg, and if you cut that off, they land with their ass flat on the floor.
Yeah, that's right, man. I mean, any of us do that. I'm sure that you don't just have one stream of income, and that's really what gives us the security, right? Is having multiple streams, multiple different angles, and the ability to create more. We talked about it earlier. I think it might have been episode 54 where we talk about the workers. There's enough bounty, enough harvest, but not enough workers. And you and I are, well, I'm putting myself in the class of Igor right now. We're workers.
Well, yeah, that's it. So we don't just sit on our asses, right? Although some work more than others, but we don't just sit there doing nothing. We create leverage. We take advantage of opportunities. We create systems. And that is what, that guarantees we're not going to starve, right? Not to mention that the income is so much better than just having a job. I mean, let's face that. There's just one of the benefits of being an entrepreneur. Sure, at first it sucks. And, there's many entrepreneurs who slept in their car, including Robert Kiyosaki and Matt Morris and others. But, eventually they build empires of just ridiculous proportions. Robert Kiyosaki used to sleep in his car, filed bankruptcy after his first business venture failed. However, today he's worth more than $80 million.
Wow. I was just playing Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm babysitting my little sister for the week. She spends a week in the summer with us, and we're playing Rich Dad, Poor Dad game. What is it? Cash flow. That's what it's called. Cash flow with the assets and liabilities. I'm teaching this kid young. What's up with that?
Oh, I wish someone taught me, man. I know it was such a huge shock to me to kind of discover when I was 18 or 19 years old that my whole life has been a sham. Like, I was told, go to school, get a degree, and I was going to become a junior engineer in electronics. And it's like, 18 years old, I get told that it's not true. That I've just wasted the last 6 years of my life. And that, my diploma, it's only good for wiping my ass with it because it's not going to get me a great income. It's not going to make me rich. It's not going to get me the income security I was looking for. That was not a devastating thing. It's like my parents were wrong. My parents had it wrong. This is when I don't want to say I lost respect, but like on a pedestal, right? Their pedestal went down. My dad went off the pedestal completely.
That's tough.
So yeah, it was earth shattering to me. But I'm happy that I discovered it when I was 18, not when I was 38, because that would be so much harder for me to make that transition.
Yeah, man, you did get an early start. A little envious of you. If I had only started just a little bit earlier. But the key is starting, right? I mean, that's the problem here is that most people are frozen. We talked about that in another episode too. They're waiting for Igor to tell them to fire, and you just need to fire and get your aim right.
Yeah.
Figure out where you're missing your target.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about this earlier. Tendency is not destiny. So if most people who tend to start late don't succeed, doesn't mean you won't. And, I always kind of bring up Einstein as an example. He was a nobody doing nothing until the age of 46 or something like that. He was just either a bank teller or a mail clerk or something. He ended up becoming one of the greatest people, one of the greatest influencers, one of the greatest scientists of all time, right? That's big. The impact he had back then, without the internet and without all this, all the gadgets we have today, and the access we have today, the reach we have today, is tremendous. I mean, my hat is off to Mr. Einstein simply because very few people get such a late start. But then again, Kiyosaki, let's take him for example. He got started after the army service in Vietnam. So he wasn't necessarily like 18 years old when he started, right? He failed several business ventures. So he only succeeded after he was 30, maybe even after he was 40, you know? Again, late start did not stop him. Although, of course, you can argue that he had the rich dad, but you know, the rich dad did not help him escape quite a few mistakes that he made, which taught him, tons and tons of important lessons.
Yeah, man, it's interesting what you grow up with and how that stuff holds you back. I think there's a whole show right there of limiting beliefs your parents put on you.
Oh, that's gonna be nasty because if I list all the stupid bullshit I learned from my parents, first we'll have to do a double episode. But second, I'm probably gonna end up alienating my family completely. So I'm not sure if that's such a good idea.
We'll put that one in the vault. Oh, man. So anything else you want to say as we're coming close to wrapping this one up, Igor?
Yeah, a lot of people treat their life like a casino. A lot of people do treat their life as if they are playing, game of roulette or slot machines or blackjack. And that if they don't get lucky, well, they don't get lucky and life sucks. But it's not true. Life ain't like that. Life is way more concrete and predictable than you think. And sure, there's change. There's change and there's constant, motion in life. However, there are principles which guide you, right? That almost always lead to success. And you have to become aware of these principles if you wanna become successful in life. If you wanna stop messing around and live just really crappy, pathetic, boring, gray, dull life. So a great place to start if you still haven't read, say, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, The Unemployed Millionaire by Matt Morris, The Millionaire Fast Lane by, don't remember the guy's name. Like, read a couple of books, expand your horizon, get a new perspective, and see that world is not a casino. Because if that were the case, we would never win in life, because the casino always wins. But there's tons of people out there who are a great example that you can win. You can win and you can live a great life and you can have tons and tons of impact on the lives of others and have lots of fulfillment doing what you love and making a ton of money in the process.
Good stuff, Igor. So what do you have coming up for next time?
Oh man, next time I got an enemy on the show. Believe it or not.
What?
Yes, I got a social media marketer who's really, really successful. And I invited her on the show to basically just embarrass her. And you know what? And you know what? I did not succeed.
Really?
Yeah, we're still releasing the episode, so make sure you subscribe and get the next one. But, I really did my best to ask her a bunch of questions, a bunch of uncomfortable questions that would stifle her about social media marketing. I couldn't. Like, she would have an answer to everything, and it made freaking sense. And this is a great, great episode that helps to kind of expand your horizon and gain a new perspective on social media marketing and use it as a part of your marketing arsenal in addition to email. So, in other words, Igor might be going to social media. So,
whoa.
Yeah, you gotta check this out. It's a great episode, tons of controversy. I'm like, you can hear me just literally trying to catch her throat, like grab her by the throat and choke her sometimes, and I can't. It's just she handles everything perfectly, and she wins my respect, and she wins me over. And man, it's just he also actually gives some great strategies on how to use social media to make a ton of money.
Wow, that is really twisted and interesting. I can't wait for that. So that's a wrap for another List Building Lifestyle. Thank you, List Builders, for tuning in. Thank you, Igor, for sharing deep, dark secrets. And we will be back next time.
Thank you for listening to the List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.